how to make a basic hinge. Today I will show you how I make a hinge out of 18 gauge mild steel, just like this one. Start off by marking your pattern for your hinge onto the plate that you will cut. Each part of the hinge consists of a 5 cm by 10 cm piece of plate. I mark each centimeter on the length of the plate with a line. This is just to show me where I will make the marks later. We will reapply the marks later. Mark the center line and then you should be good to cut it out. Using an angle grinder with a 1mm slitting disc, cut the plate loose from the bigger piece of steel. Using hand shears, mount it into a bench vise, cut the pattern on the marks that you marked before. Try and cut on the inside of the permanent marker lines, just make sure that you're cutting it to the perfect size. Now, after a quick sanding, just to clean some of the rust off, we will hammer the edges down that was curled up during the cutting process using the hand shear. Now, these are the nails that you will use as the center shaft for the hinge. Just bend the plate over something just by hand. 18 gauge mild steel is quite easy to bend by hand like this. So you just bend it initially before you will put the nail in. Just bend the second one down and then you can go on to hammer it a bit more closed. You just close it up a little bit before you insert the nail. Now that the nail is in, hammer it down closed around the nail. As you keep hammering it, it'll start to cinch the nail into place and then you don't have to struggle holding it anymore. Using a chisel with a smoothed edge that won't cut your metal, you hammer the edge in on itself. This will just cinch that roll a bit more around the nail. You just slowly hammer it onto a hard surface and then you'll see it closes it up quite nicely. Now just hammer those plates that pulled apart closed again. You want to have the one side of the hinge be flat with the roll and the roll sticking out on the other side. Just hammer it down. And there is the two cinched down pieces of plates starting to look like a hinge now. Now just gently tap that nail out over the edge of your table and with a bit of force and wiggling pull it out of the metal. There you go. Now we will just mark those lines again that we marked before and then color in the opposing parts of the hinge that will overlap with each other. This permanent marker gives us a guide of where to cut in the next step using our angle grinder. The black parts are the areas that we will remove. You will remove 3 parts on the one part of the hinge and 2 parts on the other part of the hinge so that they fit into each other. Now mount your hinge into your vise vertically and use your angle grinder horizontally with that same slitting disc to cut these black areas out of the hinge. You want to cut the holes a little bit smaller at first, so that you can work it down to the correct size later. If you cut out too much initially, then you won't be able to put that metal back. So with this part, you just turn the hinge by 90 degrees and then you can easily cut the outside pieces off. Using a hand file, you file these gaps to size so that they fit with each other. You can take off a surprising amount of metal in a short amount of time using a hand file like that. So you just keep filing until they fit together. And there you can see they finally fit with each other. So next up, we'll use a finer file, or needle files, just to deburr the edges that was cut with the grinder, and to just clean the whole hinge up there. If you don't clean it up, then pieces are going to scrape against each other and it is just not going to work properly. So just clean those gaps out and make sure there's no sharp or rough edges. Using a other type of needle file, just run it through the holes quickly just to make sure they're clean. Gently insert the nail into the two parts of the hinges. Just slightly tap on it with a soft hammer. You don't have to use a lot of force. If you use too much force, you're going to bend the nail and then the hinge won't work properly. Grind it down slightly with our flap wheel, just to make the edges line up. Give it a little bit of sand over the hinge rolls itself. And using a mini bolt cutter, cut the ends of that nail off. You want to leave about 1 to 2 millimeters on each side of the hinge. Smooth it off a little bit with that needle file. And now using the round part of your ball peen hammer, just slightly peen the edge of that nail over. Again, don't use force, work on the edge of the nail to peen the metal over. If you hit it too hard, you're going to bend that nail and then the hinge won't work anymore. And there you can see, a completed hinge. Now, with a few holes, we'll be able to attach that to our van brace. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit that like button.